Well, shall we start the shows?
Man, I don't want to do no show.
What you mean you don't want to do a show?
That's what you're supposed to be thinking about while we're out riding all day.
We decided that back in Sioux City.
Yeah, I know we decided that. I just don't feel like doing a show.
Well, if you ain't gonna do a show, then you can't watch our show.
We gotta do a show every night.
How he gonna call himself a cowboy if come nightfall he ain't gonna do a show for everybody?
You better just spin your ass right around and stare at that prairie, boy.
The hell I am.
The hell you ain't?
Welcome back, everybody. This is Rock Hard Caucus. This is episode 65. This is the number one podcast for haters in the state of Iowa.
Yeah, we took a vacation, and we were all very angry over that entire time since the last episode.
A hate-fueled vacation.
Yes.
We've all been sipping haterade.
Yeah, I took a nice, relaxing vacation. Just been having a great time away from the podcast. All right, I'm here. I'm Justin, and we got Evan and Stella here tonight.
Hello.
Thank you both for joining me.
Anytime.
And we are celebrating the anniversary of a traumatic event this week. August 10th of 2020 was the derecho that decimated Cedar Rapids, and it's currently August 13th. So we just passed the year mark for that. How do you feel about the year that's gone by since then?
Yeah, just about as shitty as the one before it.
We've made a lot of progress since that day. It's just been one catastrophe after another. Well, that train started before the derecho. The derecho was like
Right.
the second or third catastrophe on the train of catastrophes.
Somehow things just continually get worse and worse. And even when they start to seem a little bit better, they just get worse.
Yeah, you always have to expect the worst now. Every pessimistic prediction is always the correct one.
Yeah, I hadn't been to Cedar Rapids or back to Cedar Rapids since June of this year, and it's still crazy to see that there's still piles of wood and shit like in my old neighborhood, and it's still very obvious that something really bad happened.
Yeah. I guess the city had some kind of event commemorating the derecho.
I saw that
at Beaver Park, which is still like, I think you can't even go in parts of that park still because
that's my old neighborhood there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does seem like that was one of the worst hit areas. I mean, it did hit Des Moines as well, but I didn't even lose power. Like a lot of people did, but and I think like Marshalltown, like there's a lot of places. Obviously, it was huge. I mean, we talked about it on the show. You guys know.
Yeah.
It does seem, though, like through some weird twist, sick of fate, like Cedar Rapids, though, really got the brunt. I don't know if it's just because the winds were so strong by the time it had reached Cedar Rapids, or like there's a city there. So, of course, the amount of damage to like people's homes and stuff is going to be most affected there. Like if it was just cornfields where Cedar Rapids is,
yeah,
you know, that would have been one thing, but just seems like really the perfect storm, if you will.
Yeah, it definitely got a lot stronger, but I think like the strongest part of the storm was just directly over Cedar Rapids.
Stella, I think did you prepare something for this anniversary?
Oh boy, did I. Yeah, you guys need to stop like reminiscing and referencing stuff because it might come up in this fantastically researched segment.
Oh, okay.
That I've prepared, so
we gotta shut our fucking mouths.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
All right, can do. We're listening to women now.
Yes. Unlike Twitter, trying to silence the voices of women.
Yeah, Stella got suspended for threatening a man.
Yes, for threatening to kick him in his nuts, of which none existed. So Twitter shut me down.
Yeah, Twitter's moderation not so good with irony, or
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Or women in general.
Yeah, well.
They haven't taken any action against me for threatening Stella in a similar manner.
Yeah. In an anatomically correct, similar manner.
Yeah.
It's been a hate-filled couple weeks, I think we can suffice to say. So as you mentioned, this past week, we observed the 1-year anniversary of the derecho touching down in Iowa, which famously prevented Rock Hard Caucus from recording for several days and weeks.
Yep.
The largest felt impact of the storm.
That was one of our previous vacations. We've had a couple of those now.
We're very lazy. Except for
Just
Justin.
so much sloth. Yeah. Justin deserved an actual vacation. As you know, 17 months is also a typically celebrated anniversary. So we've also hit the 17-month mark into this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I specifically mean when it started affecting Americans and therefore became an actual problem. So let's mark these tragic, traumatizing events and their ongoing impact with a goofy little game show. So, woo. Some brief housekeeping before we get started. I have some notes here. Justin, I know you want to get this episode out as quickly as possible, but I encourage you to really take the time you need, flex your muscles when it comes to adding music and sound effects for this segment. I'm talking theme songs, I'm talking dings and gun noises and buzzers. But remember, please keep it tasteful. These are tragedies that we're speaking of. All right, so Justin and Evan, you need to make a noise and buzz in or something when you want to answer a question. So just be prepared to make a noise that you think, represents your personality or...
This will work really well over internet with the latency.
Yeah.
We're racing to make our noises.
If there's a noise that really comes to mind after, living through a public health emergency, natural disaster, all the shitty stuff that I know has happened in your personal lives, feel free to make that your noise.
Okay. Should we make the noise now so that you know what to listen for?
Are you prepared to? Does one spring to mind?
I'll do something like this. Kind of a groan.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do a bong.
Those are both perfect. Oh my gosh, you guys are the best. Okay. So if you're right, I'm going to try to remember to do a ding, or if you're incorrect, meh. But that might be hard for me to do. It's really difficult to be a quiz master. That's why it's taken so long to fill Alex Trebek's seat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you in the running for that?
This is my audition, actually.
Oh, okay. I think they already picked the guy, and they picked the guy who was supposed to be picking the guy.
Yeah. But then
It's
they
like a Dick
also
Cheney situation.
picked the lady from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, and Blossom. They picked Blossom.
I don't know her name.
Blossom from Powerpuff Girls?
No, Blossom from Blossom.
Oh.
She was she had a show in the 90s, I think, where she wore a distinct hat.
I'm thinking of Carmen Sandiego.
I would watch every fucking episode of Jeopardy if it was hosted by Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah, that'd be cool. They're similar shows anyway, like the game show version of Carmen Sandiego.
So anyway, Justin, you may have to add those correct or incorrect noises in post. I trust your judgment. So, Okay, here we go. Getting started. Come on down. You're the next contestants on Derecho or No Derecho. Okay, but before we do it, actually, here are some. I just wanted to share some of the game show names that were also considered.
So that wasn't your first. That wasn't the first thing you thought of. Okay.
No, it was quite a process. That's why I was 5 minutes late to recording.
Workshopping the game show name.
Oh yeah. We had some focus groups, some user testing, all kinds of stuff. So here's one. Wheel of Misfortune. Supermarket sweep for the last remaining non-perishable goods. Are you smarter than Kim Reynolds and Brad Hart?
Nice.
This one I thought was too dark. The Newly Dead Game. Oh. Do you guys have any other ideas that are better than that? Good luck.
No, I think you got it covered.
I'm just thinking like no whammies over and over again.
I wish I tried the one that I tried to come up with something for the longest was for like whose line is it anyway? Like I thought that would have been cute, but I couldn't think of anything. Maybe if our listeners tweet at us.
I got one.
Tweet at us.
Whose power line is it anyway?
Oh, that's good. I was gonna say whose straight line wind is it?
Yeah,
anyway?
that's a good one too.
Oh man, those are very good. Okay. Question the first. Which event happened first? Cedar Rapids Mayor Brad Hart's administration released a comprehensive report on the Cedar Rapids response to the derecho that includes recommendations on how the city may respond to future natural disasters that are increasingly likely with every passing day due to climate change, or Brad Hart contracted COVID-19.
Well, there's my buzzer sound. I guess I'll say he contracted COVID-19 first.
Ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that.
It's been an eventful year. So he contracted COVID-19 and then immediately gave it to his wife, as the news story I read decided to include. And that was in October. And credit where credit's due, he was one of the few city mayors in Iowa, you guys may remember, who did issue a citywide mask mandate.
Yeah.
But, I mean, little good it did him personally, I guess.
Yeah.
Plus, during the time where he was infected, he probably spread the virus to a lot of people because he is prone to frothy rage fits.
Oh, yeah.
as we know. Which is the most effective way
He likes to leave
transmit it.
very angry voicemails.
Yeah. Well, that's health-wise, that's safer than just yelling at people's faces.
That's true. You're right. You would prefer to do it over a phone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, that is a CDC COVID-19 guideline when you need to bitch someone out.
Yeah, that's social distancing in action there.
And 1 year later, a comprehensive report on how the city responded to the derecho and may respond to similar events in the future does not yet exist. So,
okay.
apparently, the city spent some money to get someone to do that, but it's not out yet. And then the commission that's supposed to talk about that hasn't met for a while. So, all right.
Well, I mean, if all goes well, he won't be in the driver's seat for much longer, so not his problem.
I think his odds are not great, from what I understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, hard to say, I guess.
It seems like he's pretty unpopular. He's
Yeah.
had a lot. I mean, being a city mayor for the city of Cedar Rapids in the last few years or whatever, there's been some crazy shit that went down. So, anyone would have a hard time, but I don't know. It seems like he's done
I
pretty...
see Cedar Rapids people who are not very politically engaged who are saying to get rid of him, so that's my impression.
It's been a bad term.
Question 2, too furious. Okay, which travels faster? A sneeze carrying COVID-19 droplets or the derecho wins?
Bong.
Yes, Evan?
I think that's a tough one, but I think a sneeze might actually be faster.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Damn. Well, I wonder who's going to get this one right.
Oh, well, now that it's answered.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have been keeping track of points. Oh, fuck.
Well, I have 1 point.
I have 0 points.
All right. I'll cut that from when I send this in to my Jeopardy audition. So, derecho winds. They were the equivalent of a Category 2 hurricane. They traveled at 140 miles per hour at their top speeds, while a sneeze tops out at a maximum of 100 miles per hour.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've had some very violent sneezes, so in my defense.
Yeah. No, it feels like you're going really fast. And a cough is slower than a sneeze.
We got to
Just
get one of
FYI.
those, like the guns they use to track how fast someone's pitching a baseball.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We got to do that on one of Evan's sneezes.
Yeah. Answer for me this question of 3. Listeners, if this is the first time you've ever streamed or downloaded Rock Hard Caucus, you should know that we are capitalists to our core. So,
And we always start with a game show also every
Yeah.
episode.
that's what we're known for. But surprisingly, most of the facts that I was able to look up for this game show, besides the sneeze one, of course, were like, I wanted some hard numbers. Everything is about how these disasters have like affected dollar amounts of stuff versus like sometimes, of course, like the human impact of these sorts of things. So anyway, we're capitalists. This question is for fellow capitalist Kim Reynolds. Girl boss. Okay, which disaster has cost the Iowa economy more? The COVID-19 pandemic, which, as you remember, has occurred over 17 months, or the derecho, the most costly storm in U.S. history of all time?
I'm going to give it to COVID. I feel like the economic effects have been, well, probably the full economic effects haven't even been measured yet. So
Yeah.
I would assume it's a greater toll than the storm.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. So,
Yes.
all all of my research was looking at like COVID-19 up until this point. So, as you noted, Justin, to your point, things could get much, much worse, of course. So. Yeah, the derecho likely cost about $11 billion in
Jeez.
damage. And I had a really hard time finding a specific number for this one, probably because like COVID isn't done, but it has probably cost Iowa specifically about $17 billion at this point.
Okay. It's kind of close. I mean, $6 billion is a lot of money, but...
Oh, 17 billion.
yeah, no, I mean, the difference between them is $6 billion.
Oh, yeah.
But it's closer than I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Answer henceforth my question, the 4th. Okay, what is higher? The percentage of Iowans that are fully vaccinated today, or the percentage of corn crops affected by the derecho?
Bong.
Yes.
I think it's actually the corn crops.
Ooh, yeah, that's what I first thought, but
my God.
All right, well, no need to keep track. Justin wins.
Oh, I got a lot of questions. You guys aren't through the
okay.
woods yet. Okay, so 53% of Iowans are fully vaccinated. 43% of all the crops were affected. And fun fact, all the corn in Iowa increases the humidity and therefore the severity of our thunderstorms and weather events. But I hear actually this last summer has been really a bumper year for the corn farmers. A record year despite the drought.
Wow.
Yay! Yay!
We all benefit from that.
We
Yeah.
love our farmers.
ANF. ANF.
All right. The 5th season is a question.
Oh, good reference.
Okay. Has the derecho or the pandemic had a disproportionate impact on low-income families in terms of their... has the derecho or the pandemic had a disproportionate impact on low-income families in terms of their housing, food security, health, financial security, mental well-being, things of that nature?
So is this a yes or no question, or is it which has been more disproportionate?
I don't know. I guess... Okay, we're going to throw this one out. Okay, the answer is that both have had disproportionately worse impacts on the most vulnerable Iowans in almost every way imaginable.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys both get a point for that one.
Oh, cool. Okay.
This is really a lot like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
The points matter.
Yeah, the points.
The points matter a lot.
Question the 6th, pick up sticks. I was grasping for straws at this point.
Grasping for sticks.
Yeah, yep.
As they were, yeah. So have more Iowans tested positive for COVID-19 than the number of Iowans who lost power after the derecho?
I'm not even.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying anymore.
Okay. just to make sure I'm thinking about this right, you said the number of Iowans who have been infected with COVID.
Yeah, or tested positive specifically.
Tested positive, yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
right.
versus the number of people who lost power due to the derecho.
Okay, I think I'm going to give that one to COVID as well.
Actually, about they were saying between 400 to 500,000 people lost power in the aftermath of the derecho, while a little less than 350,000 Iowans have officially tested positive for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I know that some folks have reported some weird issues with the data, but that was the number.
Yeah.
That's the number. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Justin's right on a technicality here. Those numbers are not accurate. There's way more people who had COVID. No, I know, but I guess per the terms of the question, Justin got it.
Okay, I will not add to my point total for that one.
I feel like this is the first game show in history where the contestants are like in a mutiny against the host. And just interestingly, I'd like to note, but of course completely meaningless, it took about 2 weeks for power to be fully restored for folks who lost it in the derecho, which is the similar amount of time that it can take COVID to incubate in your body before showing symptoms. And is that a coincidence? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, it took my parents about 2 weeks before they got their power back.
Oof. Yeah, and then I know a lot of people didn't get their internet until October?
Yeah, it wasn't quite that long for them, but yeah, internet took a while too.
Question number 7, are you guys in heaven playing this game?
At the Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
There's something about heaven in that movie, right?
Yeah. Question
we just had the baseball game there last night.
Yep.
I don't watch it because fuck baseball, but...
Kevin Costner was there, I heard.
And still hot.
Good for him.
Being widely reported. Yeah.
I saw on the news, Kevin Costner, still hot.
Yeah. All right. Which lasted longer? Cedar Rapids businesses forced to close because of the derecho, like they were so damaged they couldn't operate, or Iowans' ability to go to livestock auctions due to, state proclamations and orders that closed, certain non-essential gatherings due to COVID at the height of sort of that time in Iowa.
I think we read a story about that on the show.
Bong. Pretty sure that they were out of business longer because of the derecho.
Yeah! Ding, 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 ding!
There we go.
Because I think we did talk about it on the show, because that was like a very early COVID thing that Kim Reynolds let them keep having like livestock auctions.
Yeah.
Which is
exactly.
Can you imagine how much spit the average auctioneer would generate during the course of one of those?
Yeah. So during the height of COVID-19 restrictions, livestock auctions were never fully ceased. They could still operate with less than 10 people in attendance. I think that was the worst restriction they got. And more than half of businesses in Cedar Rapids were closed for a week or more after the derecho. 32% were closed for 2 weeks or more.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. This is the final question.
Okay, the current points are 3-2.
Okay, all right.
So, Evan, you have a chance to tie.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say.
Well, none of those matter because whoever gets this question wins. I've just decided.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so that there's more suspense.
Yeah, I'll erase these points then.
That's why pencils have erasers, baby.
That's why my keyboard has a backspace.
Okay, so what cost specifically $60 million? Iowa's coronavirus testing program, Test Iowa, recommended by Ashton Kutcher, or the city of Cedar Rapids derecho recovery. This is for the city specifically.
I guess that was kind of a different noise than what I was making before.
Every time you do it, I don't think you're buzzing in. I think that's the sound you make when you think. Like you're like, oh, let me think about that one.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that was my strategy all along. As soon as I start thinking, that's when I buzz in, and that gives me the advantage.
right.
So yeah, I'm gonna guess that that's the city's derecho recovery expense.
Yes. So
Yes.
city officials say that that is how much it is going to cost. That doesn't include the cost to replenish the city's lost tree canopy. But I also wanted to note that, do you know what else cost $60 million? Creating the 2001 movie Shrek, which is
Wow.
which is also celebrating a very special anniversary this year.
Yeah.
20 years of Shrek. Never forget, everything changed. And Test Iowa cost about $26 million, so less than the cost to make Shrek.
Yeah, but Shrek wasn't a scam, and Test Iowa was.
Right.
Shrek
Yeah.
was actually a pretty endearing children's movie.
Yeah, Shrek was a cultural phenomenon. Test Iowa is, at best, I don't know what Ashton Kutcher gets out of it, but yeah, big failure.
Well,
And
his
then-
tech bro buddy got a lot out of it,
Yeah.
I think.
Right.
And then just one last thing as we're wrapping up. So FEMA kicked in about $200 million for the Cedar Rapids derecho recovery, which that puts us closer to talking Shrek 2 budget numbers. All right, that's it. Yay!
Right. Oh, I think I won then, right?
Yeah, you
You-
won.
you
Good job,
definitely won.
Justin. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
woo.
Awesome.
I'm putting a
Great.
big sash on your shoulder.
I'm putting a dunce cap on you. All right, so there's some news that I feel obligated to cover on the show. It's very much part of our canon. This was written by Sarah K. LeBlanc for the Des Moines Register, published on August 7th, updated on the 10th. I don't know what she added to it, but it's a pretty short article. The headline is, Ray Gun fires back. Oh, I bet that's an
That's
intentional...
cute. Yeah, that's very cute. Very clever.
I think Zap's back would have been more
Yeah.
technically accurate.
Yeah, if they're
But-
firing Rays. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Raygun fires back after Governor Kim Reynolds posts shirt for donors with familiar design.
Yeah, text. Text on a shirt with a solid color.
If you thought the design of Governor Kim Reynolds' latest campaign fundraiser t-shirt looked a bit familiar, you're not the only one. Reynolds began offering donors the red exclusive t-shirt in a Facebook posting at 8 a.m. Thursday, available for a minimum donation of, since we've been talking about numbers a lot, anyone want to guess how much this t-shirt costs?
Like 25?
Higher.
Is it like, are we talking
she's
like
really-
$100 Kanye West
it's
tour
double-
tickets?
Double digits.
Whoa, okay. So this is like fundraiser plate money.
It's $35. It's
Oh.
so not insane, but a lot for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Available for a minimum donation of $35, it bears the message, "You'll find me at the fair," in capital white block letters aligned to the right of the shirt as viewed from the front. No shit.
Wow.
Reynolds' name and the last name of her lieutenant governor, Adam Gregg, are on the back. Actually, let me look at the back here.
I think it's just like her campaign, like it's just very generic.
Yeah, it's her
like
it's her
campaign branding.
bumper
Yeah.
sticker. Yeah, logo.
Do you think it's possible that whoever designed the shirt, and I'm thinking some young Republican intern, they were wearing a ray gun shirt and they looked at themselves in the mirror and then they tried to design it on their computer, and that's why
That's why it's mirrored.
different.
Yeah.
It's centered right.
It's aligned right instead of left, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. They were wearing one of the apolitical ray gun shirts, like, I fucking love ranch dressing more than my mom. One of those.
Or one of the conservative ones, like I love hog farming and Bush Light.
Right. Less than 5 hours after Reynolds posted the image, Des Moines-based t-shirt maker Raygun took notice of how it appears to mimic its familiar style. The main difference is that the words are aligned to the right, as opposed to Raygun's typical left, and some
Wow.
subtle font and spacing changes.
Sue them.
Or maybe it's like a political reference. Ray gun aligns to the left because they're like a liberal t-shirt store.
I think you're giving him too much credit.
I don't know. It may have been intentional. I don't know.
That's assuming you think liberals are on the left.
Well, liberals assume they are on the left.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are,
themselves.
right wing.
You know that she like reread the article and then she thought of that as she was reading it, and that's the update that she made 3 days later.
Yeah. Just after 12:20 p.m. Thursday, Raygun, whose owner Mike Draper's political leanings run well to the left of Reynolds,
That's fair.
posted on its social media that imitation is the highest form of flattery and debuted its own red shirt. Its right-aligned message is composed with the company's signature sass. You'll find me... Actually, you know what? So the Reynolds shirt was, you'll find me at the fair. What kind of like brilliant wordplay do you think Raygun came up with?
Oh, fuck.
You'll fare poorly when you catch COVID at the fair. Please do not vote for Kim Reynolds. They had to make the font size a little bit smaller for that one.
You'll find me something about fair, promoting fairness and bringing fairness to our state at the ballot box.
Okay, well, you both put more thought into it than they did. The Raygun shirt says, you'll find me voting for someone else.
Someone else. Imagine seeing that shirt and not knowing the context behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
What is this about?
Okay. At least the Reynolds shirt, like, makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's internally consistent.
Undercutting the governor's price, Raygun is selling its shirt for, well, you want to guess the number here as well?
Way too much.
Yeah.
No,
their
it's
shirts
probably
are
cheaper.
pricey, aren't
It's
they?
probably like 25.
Just a little bit less.
$20.
Split the difference.
22.50.
Okay, it's $23.25.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I don't know if that has any significance, that specific number. $23.25.
Oh yeah, that's the number that's associated with being sassy.
If you think like 1312 logic, 2325 would be BCBE.
BCBE.
I don't think it's anything.
I don't think there's any secret messages there.
We better be like.
I think Reagan shirts are usually pretty straightforward.
Bipartisanship can bring everyone.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, I think if we think about it too hard, we will come up with something that's too good, like too clever.
Yeah.
And then we're going to start like Q 2.0.
Yeah. Beautiful centrism. Beautiful everyone. I think yours was also everyone.
Yeah.
I'll switch mine. My E is Earth. Beautiful centrism, beautiful Earth.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And they're only selling this t-shirt online. So you're not going to see it in the store with zero context and wonder what the hell is going on.
What the fuck?
The reason I saw this because I think OPAC posted about it and they were like, Reagan, y'all don't miss. I don't think they actually said y'all. I don't think they said y'all, to be fair. But
see you at the picnic, Raygun. Y'all don't miss. Or a cookout or whatever it was.
No, I think she said barbecue.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
We're not allowed to talk about this. This is a banned topic of discussion.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. But, it's about Raygun, so I felt obligated to talk about it. That's our beat. We got to talk about Raygun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we should probably just do a print run of our own shirts. Like, the two that you thought of were better than theirs anyway, so...
And that's off the cuff. Like, I think if we put our minds together, we get the group chat going, unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, my shirt said explicitly not to vote for Kim Reynolds, so that's like a big improvement, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta spell it out.
I think we should I think the t-shirt, it would sell truly like hotcakes if we said I love ranch more than I love my fucking mom.
Dude, actually, yeah, there's like a pretty. You could do like doubly ironic ray gun t-shirts. Like, yeah, that could sell, I think.
Yeah.
I think Natalie has wanted to do that like the whole time we've been doing this podcast. So just opening up a mean ray gun parody store would be a dream. Okay, I have some slightly more substantive news to talk about as well. More important than t-shirts, if you can imagine that. So KCRG's Beth Malicki interviewed the governor recently on the subject of masks in schools. So school's starting up in a couple weeks.
Boo!
School sucks. But we all know what's going on. The schools aren't allowed to have mask mandates. Teachers are basically not even allowed to talk about COVID.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's getting worse right now, and it's especially bad because kids under the age of 12 cannot get the vaccine. So if they aren't wearing masks, there's pretty much nothing stopping COVID from ravaging the school children yet again.
And isn't the Delta variant as well putting more kids in the hospital than the previous variants?
Absolutely it is. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Children are the future.
It's
They
fucked
can
up
make
too
it.
because it's they don't even they literally just took the authority away from school districts to decide their own policy for it. It's not even a mask mandate or anything. It's they just took that option completely out of the toolbox.
Yes.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, it is worse for kids. It's more infectious than, the previous strain of the virus in general. And, well, I guess they've got an excerpt of the interview here in text that I can read from, and they give a little bit of context prior to the quotes. Beth Malicki asked Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds about the issue of masks in schools, pointing out that Louisiana schools, which I guess, do they start school in the middle of the summer?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. But Louisiana schools saw thousands of positive cases within days of the school year. And the CDC is looking into if the Delta variant is more dangerous to children, which, as we've mentioned, all indications are yes. So here's Beth Malicki. Or anyone do a good Beth Malicki impression?
No, I'm tapped out.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to have to pretend that Beth Malicki sounds like me. So with this uncertainty, what would it take for you to allow districts to initiate a mask mandate? And this is Governor Reynolds' response. So right now, I'd like to see data. They're not very transparent with the data. I've asked for a lot of data on their requirement for mask, and they have not been forthcoming. It's a recommendation. It is a guidance. We can find data on both sides of the issue. The impact that it potentially has to children, and so I want to make sure that we're being transparent with the data. We want to make sure that we're getting accurate data. I mean, some of their original data that they sourced was a site with a test or research out of India with a vaccine that we don't even use, and so when you do things like that, it tends to make people uncomfortable with what we're basing those decisions on.
Wait, who's they?
Yeah.
The CDC, maybe?
CDC? Maybe? But I don't, yeah.
She loves to use words like data, or she'll use, I often note stakeholders, or these weird businessy, I don't know, digital marketing words in her speeches or in her responses, and they it's really weird to me that she thinks well, these are the things that I have to justify my decisions by, but she's not really saying anything about
No.
She's if I say this word, then they'll take me at what I'm saying as being a well-researched or thought out opinion.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's very smart.
She said the word data 7 times in what I just read, and there's more to come.
Well, when she's looking at the cold, hard numbers, it obviously can't be because for any other reason that she would force children into a potentially unsafe environment.
Yeah, the data says that I can do this.
Yeah, I'm dictated by logic.
or the lack of
so,
data
like,
or something.
When you gather data, you always have to make sure that you get the other data that is on the opposite side of the data, and then you have to compare the two. That's like a really important part of like doing science.
Yeah, you want the data and you want the anti-data.
You want the yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And that's how the universe is balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah. And props to whoever transcribed this, because I guess there's a period there, but most of what I just said was written here as one sentence.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounded like exactly like a Markov chain bot, you know, like one of those internet bots that just takes text and just regurgitates it in different order.
Yeah.
I just happened to like somehow the internet served me up that video of that woman who ran. Well, she was like a Miss America contestant, and she like just like spouts word salad when asked about like education or something.
I personally believe that U.S. Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps, and I believe that our education, like such as in South Africa and the Iraq, everywhere like such as, and
this went in fewer directions, I will say, than that woman's response.
So I was only about halfway through Reynolds' response there, so let me continue. And so I think we just want to make sure that we're looking at all of the data, that we're taking everything into account. And right now, we're not seeing that transfer into hospitalizations with children, but we monitor the data every single day, and we'll continue to monitor the data every day, and we'll respond accordingly.
Which they actually don't do everyday COVID reporting anymore. Which is,
Is it weekly?
Interesting.
Still?
It's week. Yeah, they dump it at like the end of the week on Friday. Or I'm not sure when it comes out, but yeah, it's weekly. Which is very fucking stupid.
Yeah, because positive cases are just as high now as they were in like February, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So right now, I think it's important for parents to know if you feel more comfortable with your child wearing a mask to school, then by all means you should do that. But if you're a parent that knows the health of your children and you have made a decision based on what you know your child has either dealt with or been exposed to or their underlying condition, then that parents can make that decision as to whether they want to have their child wear a mask or not.
If you've been doing experiments with your child to see how their resistance to various human pathogens.
Yeah, I mean, you know they can handle
the health
this
of your child. Yeah,
this new variant that they've never been exposed to of this virus.
God damn,
you know they can handle it. You know your kid.
It's 10 o'clock. Do you know the health of your child? God, that's stupid.
So we'll continue to monitor the data that comes in, and we'll respond accordingly. I think she already said that.
Yeah, like 5 times.
Well, in response to whatever that was, Beth Malicki asked, do you believe masks in school would reduce the spread? I will put that question to the panel who is currently present. Evan, Stella, do you believe masks in schools would reduce the spread?
Bong.
Yes. Bong. Aruga.
Well, I've pored over both sides of the data. I've looked at, the obtuse angles, acute angles, and yeah, I think they would. They would stop the spread, or at least be effective. Yeah.
Malicki's question was if they would reduce the spread, which I think is, it's very fair to say yes to that. I would say, like, it's not gonna stop every single transmission of the virus, but reduce the spread. Yeah, it would help. Certainly.
Isn't there an Iowa senator too who's like very anti-bullying? Like, do you remember when that was like a big in vogue kind of thing for politicians to say they cared about? And I mean, that was a few years ago now, but I mean, isn't it obvious? Like, sure, I can ask my child to wear a mask, but like they go to school and someone like makes fun of them for doing that, or like kids are so shitty, like kids are so mean, like. And it's so important to feel like you fit in when you're growing up. Like, if other kids aren't wearing it, of course you're just going to put it in your backpack. Like,
yeah. If we had Natalie here, she has
strong opinions. Yeah.
and experience with the
yes.
issue.
Well, yeah. Gosh, I know it was like a Republican politician who was like anti-bullying. I want to say even it was maybe like Terry Branstad or something.
I think that Branstad actually did talk about bullying. I pulled up an article here that the Iowa Senate passed an anti-bullying in school bill in 2015. It passed 43-7. But this article also lists Senator Rob Hogue as a Republican, so I don't know if we can trust all the information here. And that was when Branstad was still around, of course.
Yeah.
And they have a video here, a related video, of Branstad talking about bullying in his 2015 Condition of the State address.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
So it was a big deal to him.
Yeah, it was kind of like a hot-button topic at the time.
Yeah. So Malicki asked Reynolds whether she believes that masks could help reduce the spread of the virus. And Governor Reynolds said, I've not seen the data to necessarily say yes or no. We didn't see with COVID-19, the exposures were not found to be in the school, and that was in schools that did and didn't, so it was very consistent across the board.
Excuse me?
Didn't do... What are you talking about? Didn't have in-person school or
Weren't
what?
there teachers who fucking died? There definitely were teachers who died.
Yeah.
During the school year.
I think what she's saying is that some schools had mask mandates and some didn't. And regardless, the exposures were not found to be in the school, which is horseshit.
I would just like to encourage everyone to go to iowacovid19tracker.org and see the COVID-19 deaths in our schools. It has a memoriam of various educators and coaches who died due to COVID in the last year and a half.
Yes. And that's anecdotal, so it doesn't count as data, okay?
I think the other thing I was going to say is they're not doing contact tracing either.
No, that's all over. Yeah.
I mean, there's never really been effective contact tracing.
Right. So it's they're not even trying to figure out where the exposure is happening.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, so continuing with her response to whether masks help. If you look at the states that you remember when we had the spike, and it was across the country, across the country later, yeah, pretty much the whole map of the United States was burning down red in November and December. There was no variation between the states that had locked down, the states that have remained open, the states that have implemented mask mandates, and those that hadn't. There was their outcomes.
What the fuck are you doing?
So I guess she's saying in November and December, it sucked everywhere regardless of who was trying to mitigate the spread.
So why even try?
But I think in November and December, everyone pretty much had given up, right? No states were really cracking down that hard at that point.
Yeah, so the thing is you can travel freely between states as well.
That too.
It's
the fucking holidays. They weren't stopping people from visiting their families.
Yeah.
Yeah. They knew there was going to be a spike then because even with people social distancing, working from home, all that kind of stuff, people had to be indoors more just because of the climate of the country, the temperature. And that makes transmission easier. So
imagine if we had a federal government that could step in to coordinate some sort of nationwide response, and they could work with the states and figure out policies that would be effective across the board. Oh, I guess she is blaming Trump, isn't she? She's blaming Trump for the fact that COVID was out of control.
That government is too big. But when she makes some sort of mandate that affects every single fucking school district in the state of Iowa, that's a good size of government.
Yeah. Well, the picture she's painting here is that the virus can get all of us at any time, no matter what we do. It's completely hopeless. It doesn't matter if you wear a mask. It doesn't matter if you quarantine. It will defeat any measures you take.
Well, yeah, that's right in line with conservative thought. Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, isn't your immune system? Don't you know your own immune system and that it's strong, and you don't need to put a poisonous vaccine in your body.
Believe in yourself. Maliki pushed back with, but the research is pretty clear that masks do work. Reynolds said, well, N95s work. Yeah, they work if you wear them right. There's also data that says that they don't.
What?
I mean, there's data on both sides, so you can find.
Has she been in a hospital recently and asked like what kind of masks they're wearing?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, we need to ask her to cite her sources. Like, data. Where are you getting the data and the anti-data, Governor
Well, she
Reynolds?
said she's not getting the data. It's not. She has no access to any of the data.
They're not being transparent with their data.
Yeah.
But there's data on the other side too, and I can get all that. That's transparent.
That's the anti-data is easy to find.
Yeah. As someone who had to try to find data for a game show segment over the last couple days, it's very difficult to find data. I'll say that.
Yeah, you want me to trust the data from these people who seem like they're hiding something, or do you want me to take the data from over here where it's freely available and it says the opposite of the mysterious data? Who do you expect me to trust here? Okay, so she was talking about how there's data on both sides, and Maliki asks, do you find it equal? Reynolds says, oh, listen, I'm not a scientist, so I have to do the best that I can do with the information that I received, but really what I think I need to do is, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in your family. I don't know what concerns that you have. You're a mom of your children, and you guys can make that decision. And so I really do believe that we need to put parents. We need to give them a say in moving and how and what their kids do. But like I just said, we'll continue to monitor the situation, but right now, I think there's people that support it, and there's people that don't. And so what we're saying is, if you feel very strongly about your child wearing a mask, and you feel more comfortable about them getting a vaccine, not getting a vaccine, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, then that's their option.
So fucked up.
Wow.
Children do not belong to their parents. Like there's plenty of vaccines that children have to get to go to school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes the well-being of a child, there are many court cases that show that we've decided as a society that sometimes the well-being of a child is the state's interest, and the state has an obligation to put policies in place that protect the welfare of children from their shitty, stupid parents.
All of Reynolds' responses are reading like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in that episode where they're running for office and he writes a speech.
Hello, fellow American. You should vote me.
Yeah, I feel bad making fun of her because she is so dumb, but also she's the governor, so we have an obligation.
Yeah, well, I think I was going to say she deserves a masterclass in dissembling, but she's also not good at it because it's so transparent. But I don't know, I wonder about people who are less engaged who maybe didn't even pay that much attention to COVID, which is crazy. Yeah. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know how this comes across other than how I see it, which is fucking insane.
I need to watch the video of this at some point and see if it's just as incoherent as trying to read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maliki said, we're almost to the end of this, but Maliki said, if me as a parent, if I want my son and daughter to wear a mask at school, but they get there and say, forget this, and they tear it off, can the teacher be like, your mom sent a note? And Reynolds responds, I don't know. Maliki says, because we don't know either.
Oh my gosh.
This is Reynolds' closer. This is how they end this excerpt here. This is what we did. We said we're not going to mandate it, that we're going to put parents back in charge of their children. Parents will make the decision on how we move forward with this. They can still have, they still have options to do some online learning that's available. Is that true? That sounds like bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea, but it seems like the whole thing is that they absolutely do not want to do any online learning. They don't want that to be an option.
Yeah. There's a process to go through that. And I said kids need to be in the classroom. So we need to look at the whole child will making these decisions. Huh? And we continue to see a lot of bad outcomes that we put these kids
Stop looking
through.
at my whole child. You fucking perv. It's like we want to put the control in the hands of the parent, but who has to like enforce these rules and like live with the consequences too? Like the teachers who have already been through a year of fucking hell. Ugh.
Yeah. And we continue to see a lot of bad outcomes that we put these kids through, especially kids that haven't been in the classroom for almost 2 years. I'm telling you, the impact that we're going to have on those children is unconscionable. Well, we agree there. We have fucked up everything.
Yeah. I can't believe they got her on record saying that.
Yeah, let me read that last part again.
We have fucked up everything. Just kidding.
I'm telling you, the impact that we're going to have on those children is unconscionable.
Famous last words, I guess.
So that's where the state government's at right now with COVID. It's hard not to just talk about COVID like all the time doing this podcast because it just dominates everything. Mm-hmm. But that's where we're at now. So school starts in a couple weeks, and it's going to be hell. Again, it's been hell every time school starts again.
But not for the usual reasons now. You have to learn.
Right, doing homework and like your teachers are mean or whatever.
Yeah. Books, teachers' dirty looks, that kind of thing.
Yeah, now you could also die. So what else can we say? We got the governor's words on that. I think they speak pretty well for themselves. The words speak well for themselves.
The words speak better than she does, I guess, for themselves.
If the words were like in charge of where they were placed in a sentence and like whether they could like remove themselves from the clauses, like I think the words could figure it out for themselves a little bit better. Take some control away from the governor and let the words decide for themselves, you know. But anyway, since I think, we've said all we need to say on that topic, let's end with a more fun piece of news, also starring an old friend of ours. So
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier today. This is like brand new information. This was published on KCCI, but they were reposting it from a news station in New Hampshire. So this is headlined, "Former Iowa Democratic Party chair named head of New Hampshire Democratic Party."
That is treasonous. You know the rivalry we have with those people?
Yeah. I honestly think that perhaps he's just going to go from state to state in order of their caucus or primary, following the exact order.
Fuck them all up, one after the other.
Oh, guess I'm on to Nevada.
He puts his bindle over his shoulder and walks on to the next state. Time to sell a monorail in Nevada. So this was written by John DiStasso, and I don't have to pronounce his name right because I'll never see it again because he's not an Iowan. The New Hampshire Democratic Party has tapped the former chair of the Iowa Democrats as its top staffer for the 2022 midterm elections and the 2024 presidential cycle as well. I don't think we've said his name yet. KCCI sister station WMUR reports Troy Price is relocating to the Granite State to become the New Hampshire Democratic Party's executive director, effective Monday. Price will lead a staff of more than a dozen people as the party beefs up its operations in preparation for the 2022
Couldn't you just have
elections.
promoted any one of those other dozen people and it wouldn't have been a PR debacle and
Fuck.
what the fuck? Why? I mean, insane. This sounds like cronyism to me.
Yeah,
which we know that Democrats would never do.
Is he like an agent of the National Party and they install him in places to accomplish certain goals or something?
What do you think, Justin? I mean, he worked for the Obama campaign, worked for the Hillary campaign. Mm-hmm. You never, if you're in these political spheres, it's impossible for you to lose. I mean, he lost his job, obviously, but obviously it didn't fucking stop him from just, taking a little detour to a parallel position.
Yeah,
you know?
the equivalent job.
There's no consequences for any of this shit.
It's kind of, so I don't know too much about this, but I would be really interested in like understanding. I know like for lack of a better term, like what is the Iowa brain drain for people who work for the party and then end up in other states, or like what is the turnover for the party? And is that like part of the reason why they seem so ineffective?
Right. This is just a stepping stone. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think people who are like actually like activist types get burned out real quick and end up not working for the party anymore. So the kind of people who stick around are like the fucking loyalists,
careerists.
Yeah.
Yep, bureaucrats.
But it's just like, even when you think about 2008 and how many people ended up like voting for Barack Obama, and how many people for the first time either registered as a Democrat, or like there was a substantial amount of people in Iowa specifically that switched party affiliation from Republican to Democrat because of like how intense the national mood was around that. And so it's just like, there was so much momentum at that time. So many people signed up to be part, like to caucus or to request an absentee ballot, things of that nature. What happened to all these lists of like people who were interested in like getting involved, and they wanted to be activated to, I don't know. It's just shitty, because it just seems like every time someone comes into a position, like there's a learning curve, and like you don't have that historic knowledge of what's been done, what's been tried, and so you probably like try those same things over again. Or you don't know what's been going on. So I don't know. Iowa Democratic Party seems worse than most.
Yeah. They talk here about how the DNC is considering changing up the calendar for 2024 and booting Iowa and New Hampshire from their early roles in the process. And part of Troy's job now with the New Hampshire party is to keep them as the first in the nation primary. So that's goal number one. That's most important. He's succeeding veteran party strategist and organizer Ryan Mahoney, who has been the interim executive director since April. Mahoney will remain with the party, however, as a senior advisor for state races, focusing full-time on working to restore Democratic majorities to the New Hampshire House and Senate, as well as the Executive Council. I don't know a ton about New Hampshire politics. I know they have a lot of libertarians in their state legislature.
Yep.
Yeah, that's their thing.
And I think they tend to vote Democrat for national races, right?
Yeah, I think, both their senators are Democrats. I don't know about local stuff, but I imagine it's pretty competitive.
Is the reason that there's so many libertarians there I feel like libertarians actively encourage libertarians to move there so that someday it can be like the first libertarian-controlled state.
Keene, New Hampshire. If anyone knows about Keene, New Hampshire, that's literally exactly what they did. It's like, I think there's other examples around like the Northeast like that. But yeah. I mean, it was a failure. It was a horrendous, hilarious failure. And there's like some, what's the Free State Project, I think is what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's some very funny videos that came out of that. Like people like screaming at like parking meter enforcers and like shit like that.
Price early last year resigned as Iowa Democratic Party chair about a week after what was widely viewed as a debacle in the recording and reporting of the results of the First in the Nation caucus. And then they recap that whole thing, which we don't really need to do again. We all know what happened.
We lived it.
So like, there's like, that's what I'm saying. There's like 1,000 people probably in New Hampshire who could do this job just as well. So like, why do this? Why invite all the negative publicity? It's insane.
It really is. And if their goal is to keep their second or first in the nation primary, then this guy has all he does is fuck shit up.
He's the face of not making that happen again.
Yes,
well,
yes.
You know who won the New Hampshire primary? It's Bernie.
Yeah.
So they're bringing in Troy Price to fucking.
And it wasn't
this is my conspiracy take.
It wasn't as close or ambiguous as it was here, right?
Yeah.
So they need to tamped
Yeah,
down.
no,
on
it
that.
was a lot.
Yeah.
No, I think Bernie won like something like 25% of the vote, which was enough. I mean, that doesn't sound that much, but
It was a wide
either
field
way.
still. At the
I don't
time.
know if that's actually the reason. Either way, it's fucking ridiculous and insane.
I 100% believe that is the case. And God, can you just fucking imagine this guy's first day, like just being one of his coworkers, like having to work with this guy as your boss, someone who's lived, like has he ever been to New Hampshire before in his life?
I
Like,
don't know.
Yeah, he's an Iowa guy. I mean, he's like a
Yeah.
native.
Yeah, he's from here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, so they talk about how the Iowa caucus got fucked up and how Price was like, in charge at the time, so he gets the blame. But then they got the New Hampshire party chair, whose name is Raymond Buckley. Buckley told WMUR, "These issues were confined to the process in Iowa and have no relevance to the New Hampshire primary or New Hampshire elections, which are entirely state-run."
Yeah.
Which is true, but then that also means like this guy has no experience with your elections either. Like what relevance does he have to you?
Yeah. What made him the man for the job?
Yeah. And Buckley said, when Price was interviewed by NHDP officials, the Iowa controversy did not come up.
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
Didn't even discuss it.
Just
they're
broadcasting your
bad at hiring
incompetence?
people. Yeah, they're bad. That'd be the first thing you ask about. Oh my gosh.
What was your prior job experience, Troy?
Hey, so you made the news in your last job.
Yeah. What's the? what was
I
your
did a quick
toughest
Google
day?
search.
It's kind of a high-profile resignation at your previous position. Can we talk about that? He said that Price was unanimously selected by members of a search committee organized to recommend a successor to Mahoney in the top staff role, and then was unanimously confirmed by the New Hampshire Democratic Party Executive Committee. So zero competition as well, which to me is a sign of, cronyism.
Yeah, the Bruce Harold of it all. Like,
right.
do they say why he's chosen? Like,
Not
why?
specifically. They just say that, like, he's a good organizer. He has a track record, but
He has connections.
yeah.
I mean, that's definitely, that's the reason why I'm sure they hired him.
Oh,
he does have connections.
You know what? They've got this here. This is a statement from the New Hampshire Democratic Party. Price guided Iowa Democrats to their most successful election in years in 2018. As if that's not just like a fluke. Like every other
and
year
how
surrounding
successful
that.
was it?
Yeah.
You know.
Immediately like rolled back even harder in the next election. But hey, he did great.
Yeah, and that was
one election.
That was a midterm election. Like again, like the opposition party like gained seats every fucking time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really not due to his efforts, honestly. Trump was just like very unpopular and energized a lot of liberals to vote in the midterms.
But the blue wave was not nearly as strong as they expected.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how that red wave is going to do in 2022. I wonder how many
Crimson
fucking
Tide.
like how many elections did Democrats need to lose before they actually like fucking clean house or change strategy in any way whatsoever? I mean, we're going to find out. It's not fucking pretty though.
You know what? They give a little bit more of Price's resume here as well. Price was executive director of the Iowa Democrats from 2013 to 2015. Okay. Were those good years for the Iowa Democrats?
I don't think so.
He was a senior advisor to Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign.
You know
And how
what?
did that go?
I knew that this guy was bad news, and I have been searching for someone to assign 100% of the blame for like how shitty the party has been in the last decade. And you know what? It was Troy Price's fault. I feel confident saying that he is a piss poor leader, and nice to be able to fucking hightail it out of Iowa to New Hampshire when all the fucking chickens come home to roost.
Yeah. You can envision his move over to New Hampshire as us chasing him across the state line with torches and pitchforks. So he worked for the Clinton campaign in 2016, also a failure, and was named IDP chair in July 2017. So they give him credit for the midterms immediately following that. And then he was most recently the political director of the AFSCME Union's Iowa Council. So are we going to consider that to be a success? You know, municipal employee unions in Iowa? Has that been going well recently?
I hope this is, I mean, I would love it for like, maybe we could do a brief follow-up on him in 3 years from now when he's done something really weird or bad. But like, I never want to fucking talk about this guy and his effect on Iowa and like, him like screwing shit up ever again. Oh, I hate him so much.
I want to mention Troy Price. If you go on his Twitter page, he went on a vacation to Puerto Rico in November of 2020, which is the fucking height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, imagine getting on a plane in 2020 November.
Yeah.
But I want to read this tweet he posted while he was there.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting on the patio, listening to Barack Obama read A Promised Land, enjoying a Manhattan, and soaking in what is likely the last warm day of the year. Life is good.
Life certainly was great in November of 2020.
Yeah.
We all agree.
Things were great.
Definitely not the worst month of my fucking life.
Yeah. Oh my fucking God. I hate this guy.
I told you folks, this is the number one podcast for haters in the state of Iowa.
Yeah. Oh, it feels good though. It feels good to hate someone this much sometimes.
Yeah. Hate is good. It's motivating. We can forge our hate into a sharp spear.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do you have to see they go low, we go high, fail for you to fucking like get smart about it? We want actual people who have like actual fucking convictions that they actually want to do something with, you know? Instead of just fucking people who like want to take the high road and like think that there's like virtue in just like showing love to their fucking people who hate them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because believe me, the Republicans know hate. Like,
Oh, yeah.
fuck.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. They embrace their hatred.
In fact, they like, did you not watch Donald Trump like 4 years? Like, Jesus.
When it comes to like fascism, if you are not fully in a hatred sort of mode toward that, you are bad.
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I don't think I know anybody in New Hampshire, but if you are any sort of liberal or person on the left in New Hampshire, I would be very wary of what the Democratic Party is going to be up to for the next couple of years.
Yeah, good luck.
Keep an eye on this guy. He's gonna sabotage your primary process. So I would encourage you not to, engage with the Democratic Party in New Hampshire. Try to do something else. There's a lot of libertarians there, so it seems like you can do something outside of the mainstream political parties in New Hampshire, maybe.
Yeah, is weed legal there? You could get that done. Do that tomorrow.
I would assume it is, but maybe like take the next step and legalize cocaine or something.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I would focus on issues-based campaigns in New Hampshire and stay out of the party politics for a while.
Mm-hmm. That's good advice.
Yeah, your efforts will definitely be co-opted for the privilege of Pete Buttigieg or something.
Right. I mean, maybe this is a signal that Pete Buttigieg is actually the 2024 successor to Joe Biden.
Could be. He is the transportation guy or whatever.
Price was absolutely a Buttigieg guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine how mad Kamala Harris will be if Joe Biden endorses and supports Pete Buttigieg?
I don't know, man. She might be happy with it. She's probably wanted to take a break, right about now.
Yeah, well, she gets all the shit piled on her. She gets all the shit
that's
work
literally that. The Biden administration is just like, here, take all this,
Yeah.
intractable, awful shit. Not that Kamala is any good at handling that, but,
Joe just gets to eat ice cream and then go back to his hospital bed or whatever. I think he's closer to death than they want us to believe. Sorry, I'm getting into QAnon territory.
Yeah.
Yeah. While we're here, though, before we leave, I think someone posted a video recently of him like going the wrong way on the White House grounds, like going towards the wrong, like he was going the wrong direction. He went to some shrubs he wasn't supposed to be by, and they had to like redirect him.
Wow.
And he's been there. He knows those gardens like the back of his hand, right?
Yeah, he's
I'm
been there
imagining,
for like
like
15 years.
You know how, like, if the president's on the White House grounds and he can't, like, drive his own vehicle, like, they always have to have Secret Service drive him or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
imagine Joe Biden ends up in a wheelchair and they, like, hook it up to, like, remote control. And so, like, he has no control of where he's going. There's just some guy, like, silently, like, controlling where his wheelchair goes so he doesn't do any embarrassing shit, like, go the wrong direction.
Yeah, ride it into a bush. Yeah. Well, that's all the news for today. I do have one more very important thing. This is actually a call to action to our listeners. We have a very important task for you. So, Little Village Magazine here in Iowa City is soliciting nominations and votes for a shitload of categories.
A shitload of categories.
A lot, yeah. Like
including, like, best COVID? Best place to go to avoid COVID, I guess.
Yeah. There's categories.
Your home?
There's categories.
Your home
and
an option?
one of the categories is COVID-19. I didn't actually look at it. I assume it's like who has done the best job dealing with COVID-19, and not like what's your favorite person who got COVID-19 or something like that. But there's stuff like what's the best restaurant, who's the best musician, or whatever the hell. But there's really only one of these awards that matters. And that award is the Best Local Podcast Award. And as soon as I saw that, it's just been digging its claws into my brain. I need it like Gollum needs the ring. I need Rock Hard Caucus to win the Little Village Best Local Podcast Award of 2021.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, I'm going to put a link directly to that category only in the description of this episode, so it'll take you straight there to the one thing I want you to do, which is vote for Rock Hard Caucus as Best Local Podcast. Just click on that link, just type in the name of this podcast, Rock Hard Caucus. It's going to make you register with like some information. You can probably just put in fake information, whatever.
Oh, no. Don't get us disqualified.
The zip code's here, 52240. That will get you.
See, I'm a Polk County resident. I haven't voted in this because I feel like I would be tainting, the results.
Yeah.
But, I'm a man of honor.
I want this to be a
But you should vote for this.
You're a man of the Crandick, Evan. You can vote.
I originated. Well, I'm actually not. I'm Washington, Iowa. That's my hometown. So that's a little further south.
Your scrupulous moral character is getting in the way of our Machiavellian plans once again.
Yeah. Our tiny little ego boost.
If Justin says he needs this, we gotta make it happen. Justin is an angel. He is an angel on earth. We gotta make this happen, you guys.
All right, I'll take the phone shift this weekend. We'll get it going.
I'm an earth angel. Yeah, we'll do phone banking. We'll knock doors for this. This is more important than any local election.
Oh, fuck, Justin! I put Troy Price in charge of this. Oh no, we're in big trouble.
Best local podcast. Pete Buttigieg.
I wonder if if Bernie had a podcast. I wonder if Pete Buttigieg had a podcast. Oh man, did you see? I know they talked about it on another podcast, but there's that article about Chasten Buttigieg and his post Washington D.C. life. It's devastating. It makes you feel so sorry for the guy.
They talked about that on Chapo, right? I haven't been
Yes.
listening, but I heard that they covered that, so I'll get to it eventually.
That sounds good. I'll just say that the data supports and the anti-data supports voting for Rock Hard Caucus.
Yeah, I've seen data on both sides of what's the best local podcast, and it's pretty conclusive. It's Rock Hard Caucus.
We're leaving it up to the parents and our listeners.
Think about how funny it would be if Little Village had to interview us about our podcast. Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be very funny.
You know you want to vote for it. So click on the link and do it, please. This is all I've ever asked of you. Oh, except I guess I've asked for money, but...
and don't listen to that episode of Toxic Feminine Mystique where we may have said some things about one of their columnists.
Yeah. That's neither here nor there.
All right, well, that was the only really important thing in the whole episode. So now that that's out of the way, I think we can be done. Ready to sign off?
Yes. Peace and love. Ringo Starr.
Yeah. Ding ding.
Okay, bye.
Earth angel, will you be mine, my darling dear? Love you all the time. I'm just a fool in love with you. Earth angel, the one I adore. Love you forever and evermore. I'm just a fool in love with you.
Beth Malicki got the stiffy, yeah. Cut that. I'm sorry. I apologize. That's like a 4-year-old reference.
I don't even know what it was.
Oh, you're not a Tekashi 6ix9ine fan, Justin?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, good.
It's a blind spot for me. Sorry.